Hello, good morning, dear students. So, we are moving further with the fourth chapter of English, that is A Truly Beautiful Mind. Einstein saw her in an alley against the Philistines, those people in his family, and at the university with whom he was constantly at odds. So, ally means a friend or an associate, and Philistine means a word which is used disapprovingly to talk about the people who do not like an art, literature, or the music. So, in the last lecture, we had seen that Albert Einstein was in love with Malavia Merrick, and for the first time, he saw her as a friend, and Malavia Mary was against the literature or the music. The couple fell in love. Letters survive in which they put their affection into words, mixing science with tenderness. Wrote Einstein, "How happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work and relativity on the victorious way." So, as Albert Einstein and Malavia Merrick fell into the love, they so in the olden days, the communication with the help of social media was not possible. So they started communicating with the exchange of letters, and in the letters as well there was a little bit of science, and they were very proud and happy that they both were working on the same topic, that is about science and on the work of relativity, which brings closure both of them. In 1900, at the age of 21, Albert Einstein was a university graduate and unemployed. He worked as a teaching assistant, he gave private lessons, and finally secured a job in 1902 as a technical expert in a patent office in Bonn. So, in the year 1900, Albert Einstein was of 21 years old, and he was also treated as a graduate as he has completed his graduation, but he was unemployed. He was not having any kind of job. So, he started working in a private company, and in the year 1902 he got a job as a technical expert and the patent is also one type of a document which gives rights of invention in the office in the Bern. While he was supposed to be assessing other people's invention, Einstein was actually developing his own ideas in secret. He is said to have jokingly called his desk drawer at work the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. So he was just supposed to access the invention of other people's, but while accessing the inventions of the other people as well, he was developing his own ideas. So, and he was said to be a desk drawer because whatever the ideas comes into his mind, what he used to do, he just used to draw a little bit of that on the bench, and he was treated as the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. One of the famous papers of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity. So, doing all these things and invention in the year 1905, he just came out with a theory of relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolutely measured. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey, if one of them has been moving very fast relative to the other. So the difference is given. See, the clock is also given in the diagram, that if there are two clocks which shows the different time, but if it goes through the whole journey, means if it travels the whole path, then also they will not show the same time. Means the time in both the clocks will be totally different, which is according to the theory of relativity, that if one is going faster, another one will go slowly. From this followed the world's most famous formula, which describes the relationship between mass and energy. E is equals to mc square. In the mathematical equation, E stands for energy, m for mass, and c for the speed of light in the vacuum, that is about 3 lakh km per second. So, with the discovery of all these things, finally the theory of relativity came into existence, which was known as E is equals to mc square. While Einstein was solving the most difficult problems in the physics, his private life was unraveling. Albert had wanted to marry Malivia right after finishing his studies, but his mother was against it. And so, when he was solving the problems of the physics, there was one thing that was going in his mind, that he wanted to marry the Malivia Marek on after the completion of his studies, but the mother of Albert Einstein was against this. So thought Malivia, who was 3 years older than her son, was too old for him. She was also bothered by Malivia's intelligence. She is a book like you. His mother said. Einstein put the wedding off. उसकी मम्मी ने क्या बोला कि no, Malivia Marek is 3 years older to Albert Einstein. So it is too old for him. So उसने बोला कि no, it is not possible, and she is also having all the knowledge, or she is also having the same qualities like Albert Einstein. She is interested in the physics, and if they both are going in the same direction, thinking all these things, Albert Einstein mother put the wedding off. The pair finally married in January 1903 and had 2 sons, but few years later the marriage faltered. Malivia, meanwhile, was losing her intellectual ambition and becoming an unhappy housewife. After years of constant fighting, the couple finally divorced in 1919. Einstein married his cousin Elsa in the same year. So they married in the year 1903 and they were having the 2 sons. But the relationship does not exist, but means they were having a number of problems in their relation, and Malivia was totally unhappy with this. So after constant fighting, Malivia Merrick and Albert Einstein divorced each other in the year 1919, and in the year 1919 only Albert Einstein married his cousin Elsa. Einstein's new personal chapter coincided with his rise to world fame. 1915. In 1915, he published his general theory of relativity, which provided a new interpretation of gravity. An eclipse of the sun in 1919 brought proof that it was accurate. Einstein had correctly calculated in advance the extent to which light from fixed stars would be deflected through the sun's gravitational field. The newspapers proclaimed his work as scientific revolution. So in the year 1915, he just published the general theory of relativity, and in that he had shown that how the eclipse moves around the sun, and the it calculated the extent to which the light is fixed from the stars and it would be deflected from the stars, so through the sun's gravitation. So this theory was also proclaimed in the newspaper, and the name was given as scientific revolution. Einstein received the Nobel Prize on Physics in 1921. He was showered with honors and invitations from all over the world and lauded with the press. So in the year 1921, he was given a Nobel Prize for Physics. एंड हम गुजरात में बोलते हैं ना कि उसकी वाह वाही हुई थी, सारी जगह पे उसको इम्पोर्टेंस मिल रहा था, एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स वर प्रेस्ड इन द न्यूज़पेपर. थैंक यू.